Hello, everyone, and welcome to our December office hours. My name is Stacy Hatch, product marketer here at GUIDEcx. We're excited to talk with you this month. This is a little bit of a different office hours, a special edition, if you will, because we're taking a look at the most popular feature releases of 2024 and also giving you a look ahead into our roadmap as we approach 2025. We appreciate you guys taking the time to join us today. Also on today's call are Cameron Crossett and Chris Haleua from our product team. They're going to be walking you through a few, again, of those top releases from 2024. So Cam will take a look at custom email templates, view as customer, threaded messages, and Plan View V2, which is in beta right now. And then Chris will talk about the enhancements with reporting, GUIDEcx BI, and AI functionality, how you can embed and customize GUIDEcx's onboarding portal, and then also a look at custom fields, V2, and the merge tag migration. As we go along, we ask that you ask any questions that you have in the chat, any comments that you have, any feedback, and we'll answer those things live. And as always, we will send a recording of this out after the call so you can share with your teams and review at your leisure. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll go ahead and just jump right in.
Perfect. Thank you for the introduction, Stacy. Good to be with all of you today. Let me share my screen. All right. Let's talk about custom email templates. So this is a feature that I'm very excited that it finally made it to all of you. What's really cool about this is it addresses a need, and its origin story is fun. Every hero needs a good origin story, and in this case, the custom email templates came out of a hackathon where we had one of our developers, Ethan. He was saw a need there, saw the types of requests that were coming in from you and other customers relating to, hey, we want to have more branding. We want to be able to have better links, have it look and feel like you as a provider. And Ethan was able to deliver that. This was one of the things that it won last year's hackathon when it was last fall, and we released it early in 2024. And so for me, I love that because it's the perfect union of a team member here at GUIDEcx looking outside of his own role and saying, what is it that would really help customers and make a difference, and going and solving the problem. And I've seen a couple of examples with all of you that have had some really, really amazing custom emails that have your branding, your colors, and while there is always an endless list of enhancements that we could make to the templates, and our fingers are crossed that one day we'll make those, it's awesome that you've got an option right now to be different, to stand out, and to take advantage of that. So the next one that we want to highlight is the View as Customer. With the View as Customer enhancement, for me, I love this enhancement, but I think that Emily over at Xyleme, she says it better than anyone. Her feedback after playing with it and seeing it was just a quick play with it, and my first impression is amazing. I can finally see a project in the view that they do without having to filter, etc. I can see exactly what tasks any customer has. This is really helpful for us. Our onboarding plans are complex and lengthy, so this will be helpful to use in customer meetings, etc. And I can't tell you how many times I've used this feature. I think for me, selfishly, the time that I've used it the most is as I've troubleshooted things. And in the past, I used to have a user and have an incognito window and log in and try different things like that. And now being able to do it in my own research and my own story writing for how features should work, it's been great to click on it, say, oh, this is exactly what the customer experience is going to be. Because if your customers aren't having a good experience, then you're obviously not going to have a great experience with their engagement and everything that comes along with them really seeing and knowing what's asked of them, what the expectation is as far as timing, and what can be marked complete, what has to be done for it to be considered complete. So I've loved this feature. It's very simple, very easy. You have it right in the team page with the button to say, let me view as this customer and see specifically their tasks. It works great with the the visibility of task name only, or uh, seeing how hidden tasks are actually hidden, and just really grateful to everyone that's found value with it. For me, this is one of those bucket list features that I'm glad we finally got across the finish line, because this was in our top 5 most requested features from the time that I began here at GUIDEcx. So to see something that had so much drive behind it and uh, get it into your hands is really rewarding for me and the engineering team. The next one is threaded messages. So this is in beta right now. If you go to the labs page, you can add it into your environment, into your organization. Right now, we have over 45 organizations that are participating. And there's been some highlights where people have talked about, hey, I really enjoy that I've got this daily digest, that if I need someone's attention right away, I can at mention them and still trigger that. But if I don't need it, then I know that I have the opportunity to go back and review, that I'll get my notification. And the customers that I've talked to have enjoyed the similarity to other messaging type tools that are used internally within organizations. And we've also, I'm going to come back to the preview piece right there because I've got a little demo for us. But I would say the number one feature request that, part of a beta is to not only make sure that it's stable and scales and can handle all the usage, but to also learn what is it that all of you need to be even more engaging with it and stickier to that feature. And the number one request right now and learning from the threaded messages beta has been to have filtering inside of the global inbox, where a little bit more organization around active projects versus those that have been completed, and kind of in that whether it's a filter or a favorite. But it's it's always great for us as product managers to see consistent feedback from customers and not have it just be one person has this idea and one person has another idea, but to really see those things come together. Now, the thing that I want to share here is something that is brand new, and that is our image previews. And this, in my mind, is one of the uh, really big benefits to using messages. Is in our notes feature, you've got to download an attachment to be able to see what it is. And now that is not the case. I can come into any of these messages here, and I'm going to go right here. I'm going to click on that, and I can see there is my preview. So I can decide whether or not I want to download this file while I've got it up. If I want to download, I've got the option right there in the screen. I don't have to preview it if I don't want. I've got my hover states to download or delete. And all of this works with your typical attachment like this, using the attachment button, or there's a drag and drop, where if I have a file, I can pull it over and have my landing area. Now, the other piece that is in staging, that is getting ready to go to prod here shortly, is the preview for PDFs. So that's not in there, but that is the very next thing that will go. And as soon as we've got everything lined up for a deployment, that will be out. So you'll have both image files and PDFs. I'll just show you the upload process here real quick. Let me pick all right. We'll do an image right there. And you can see that it uploads, you get your progress bar, and I can say, hi there, fishing. And I can send that. And over time, we'll also have the preview remain here in the thumbnail, but I can click on this and I get my image preview of my fishing. So really excited, like I said, brand new and out just this last week. So that is image previews. The last one I'm going to talk about is PlanView V2. And this is another one that is in a closed beta. So this is not in labs where you can turn it on for yourself, but I've been meeting with a lot of you, a lot of different customers. We're up to 6 of you being on this closed beta. And we built this new plan view with 2 main purposes. The first is to make it more performant. The plan view and the task drawer are 2 of our least performant pages in the application. And we know that doesn't matter how great the rest of the application is, if you can't quickly navigate and click through your work and see what you need to see and then move on to the next task, the next email, whatever it may be, if you get stuck there, you lose that momentum. And so uh, priority number 1 is performance. Priority number 2 is to reduce the clicks. And one of the things that's been really fun to show off in these betas is how fast the application has been. So Chris, he is a customer that is in our closed beta. And as we talked through and launched his beta and looked at um, one of his projects, this was his quote. I did notice, I like it looked like an, excuse me, I did notice like it looked like an async load when it loaded the board instead of waiting for everything to come through and then rendering it. I saw them kind of file in and it looked a lot faster. So that's cool. And on our internal metrics, just to point some of those things out, this is one of my favorite stats. And you can see that in uh, the old plan view, the legacy plan view, if you had a task with 300, a project with 300 tasks and all these elements, and then this newer view that has 4,000 tasks, you can see the usage here, 600 megabytes versus 120 megabytes. So we have 1/5 of the memory usage with over 10 times the amount of tasks. And to me, that's awesome. And really excited for all of you to continue to come onto this beta as we ramp up and get more and more uh, users and a broader audience for it. But really excited to see that we are achieving objective number 1 and that you as customers can see that faster time or faster speed. So thank you so much. I'll kick it over to you, Chris.
Great job, Cam. So picking up from where he left off with messages and Plan V2, one of our other most popular releases from 2024 was Guide Business Intelligence. One of the tiers in there is Report Builder, and it's been our most common type of upsell as people say that our standard reports are great, but what would be even greater is if they always could just have a plain conversation with their data. Ask how many projects are done, ask how long those projects take, dig down through each of those things and just back and forth, be able to get immediate answers. And so that's something that's totally possible today. We have dozens and dozens of our organizations doing this. And after they get done with that initial step of just asking any plain question to the data, they'll often go into building individual charts and laying out those charts by just dragging and dropping them onto the page in any format that they like. The 2 most common things that I see get done here is that people will just add a few more columns in to a table, or they might even start to look at their reports through a totally different lens, often through different custom fields. And so if you're one of the many who wants to follow the dozens that have already gone in this direction, know that there is a gradual ramp that you can go through here in just asking a basic question or building something from scratch or just making minor modifications to the dozens of reports we already have out there. Now, one of the things that can happen though is with great power comes great responsibility, and people can feel like they can get a little intimidated. So that's where AI also helps us out. As we ask these plain questions, it can also create through generative AI the actual visualizations for you so that you're never starting from a blank page. You're always just doing really minor tweaks to a different chart type or to a different sequence. And that can happen whenever you create a new page and through our Power Domo being able to choose any data sets and it'll just fly and build out all those charts for you. So this is something that is a free trial to anybody between now and the end of January for this generative AI. And then after that, you can continue to do things manually. Another thing that we have as we really lean into the more advanced parts of AI is expanding beyond things like AI chat into things like universal models for anomaly detection when we want to identify a certain spike or drop. And then when we dig into what caused that spike or drop, digging into contribution analysis, and the most common flavor of that would be propensity scores or the likelihood for someone to churn where we can take into account not only signals from GUIDEcx, but from your CRM or your CSP to also identify which organization you should give attention to. We've got a few of our very top customer advisory board members pushing on that with us through paid analytics engagements. So if this is something you'd like to do, we'd love to have you come along with them in blazing those trails. But after we get that done, some of the more advanced pieces would be to have something like Cameron GBT. I'm always asking Cam every day different questions, and I could take a record of all those questions and start to make that auto responders for ticket deflection, whether that was something that was auto replying in notes or in messages or in other systems. That's where we really see the progress of AI expanding throughout GUIDEcx. So wherever you are in this spectrum, we can help you out. And we'd love to talk more if that's something you're interested in. To back into the heart of what we believe the absolute most, and that is that customer engagement is what causes projects to be delightful and on time. That's where we have invested heavily in our portal as well this year. Our Compass customer portal is something that feels even more compelling the moment that it no longer happens in GUIDEcx anymore. So what you see over here is a real life example. One of our customers, Get Oliver, was wanting to just really emphasize their navigation, their UI, their login, and their understanding of who the users were. So they took the entire GUIDEcx customer portal and put a new menu item under their navigation. And now every time that loads, the entire customer portal feels native, feels seamless, and loads very, very quickly. All that they and many other customers have done is that they've set Compass as the default view for each customer user. They've injected a new link into their navigation, and on that page have put a very simplistic piece of iframe code where we can then just make sure that when people log in, that we are loading the correct project for them. And of course, anytime that they click on an email, that email points to your domain instead of to GUIDEcx. In that way, this can all feel like something that you built that feels like it builds upon the trusting relationship that you already have with them and just gives them one less place to go and look and be distracted and instead just really focus on how they're moving forward things with you. So this is totally ready and probably the number one recommendation I would personally make around things that longtime GUIDEcx customers should consider to make their experiences dramatically better in the next little while. So if this ever becomes something you want to do and you find that you're stuck in reading what we already have in our help articles in the knowledge base, I would love to help each of you to move forward faster on this. But once you've really invested all this effort into embedding the customer portal on your website or in your software, then you want to make sure that the content in that portal is covering all the topics that you really want. So that's where we added on a fourth optional tab within the portal called resources. And these resources can be just one simplistic, straightforward page where you have imagery and documents and links, or it can become an entire mini site builder. So, for example, what we've done recently is expand beyond single page resources to multi-page resources where I might start off with a project overview, then it would expand into a shortcut to the help articles, or maybe even allow people to submit support tickets, all from one place. And so this experience still is straightforward and simple. We'll just give you within Guide BI a single page called Portal Resources, and then you can drag in that imagery and those documents and that extra content, or even iframes to other systems like this support ticketing system. So this is definitely a natural next step right after you embed the portal, but you can do it in either sequence that you want, even if you don't want to embed it.
Chris, a question before you go on from Larry. He said, can we embed the portal into Intercom, Link, or True Embed so the customer never needs to leave our software if we do not want to embed directly in our platforms due to product resource usage?
So the number one answer for that, if we back off into embed, is that you want to embed anywhere that you can make an API call. Because right here, what we do is we have the user log in, we know what their email is, and we know what their correct project scope should be. Then we turn to GuideCX and say, hey, for the email bob@example.com, which projects should we realistically load for them? And we'll respond back to you with the project IDs, and then you can just append that onto the end of the embed code. So even though it might be possible in a system like Intercom to do that API call to say, hey, I've got Bob here, which projects? It's much, much easier to do that on a website that you own where you can control some of that server-side code. So most of the time it's in your software or in your website, not so much in other services that you might have licensed from someone else. Great question, though. So into one piece that's been on the fence for a while. We have been able to unify custom fields and merge tags for a few weeks now, but we haven't pushed it on all of you until we've been totally sure that every single one of your recipes and your integrations will be able to continue to work without a single hitch. So what's going to happen here in just a matter of days is that anytime you go and click on custom fields, you will no longer see the merge tag option. You won't see it in navigation either. Now, instead, you just want to key off of this lock icon. That lock icon means that you went to a custom field and unblocked it from internal only. So you made it externally visible to your customers. And as soon as you do that, it's now eligible to act like a merge tag. But merge tags is no longer going to be really something that we emphasize in our documentation or in our UI. Everything will be custom fields. So that means when you go to task instructions, you'll even see custom fields here, and you'll just be able to inject anything that has this internal only unlocked and slid off. And what's great about that is you can change your mind. You can have something you might initially only be setting up for navigation, or something that you set up for a reporting segmentation, or whatever you want. And then down the road say, oh, I would also like to use that for dynamic personalization in instructions. And so we're really excited to get that out to you here in just a few more days. So that's the quick summary of the roadmap as we talk about what Cam mentioned about view as, what I just hit about merge tags, what he also showed about our beta and our feedback that we're collecting around plan and messages. So what's the very next thing? Template library. I'm so excited about this. It's been something that we've been really wanting to work on all year long. It's totally in development. We're having meetings every day with engineering, keeping this moving forward quickly. And I'm so excited in Q1 to be able to show you betas for this new template library where you'll be able to have templates for everything, not just phases, but for projects and milestones and tasks and subtasks, and be able to reference templates inside of other templates. So this is going to be a huge improvement to our flexibility around the library. And we're excited to get it out to you here really soon. So as we kind of close things up, I want to just give props to Stacy. She's so great. She's been hosting us every month for office hours. And look what she put together. She's going to be sending out to you this PDF that she just finished up. And it's our 2024 year in review. And you're definitely going to want to pay attention to it because I'm intentionally going to go through the next few pages too quickly. But it's going to show you every quarter, what were the highlights of the releases? What are the links to the release notes? What should you really be caring about beyond the things that we highlighted in this webinar? And what are the pieces that we've tried to add to your experience to make you more productive and make your customer engagement even more likely? So you'll definitely want to check that. And when you get it, click on any of these titles to get to the links for how you can start using it. But just to then celebrate you and the great work you have done with GuideCX over the past year, recognized millions in revenue through the billable projects that we have, invited hundreds of thousands of customers, gone through millions of automation tasks, and sent about 1 million emails a month. So there's just tons of activity because we know that you're hardworking, and we want to make sure that anytime you trust GuideCX for mission critical type of experiences, that we can be reliable for you. So that's why when we look at the application and what we've done, we have that 10x faster loading time that Cam was showing you in the plan V2, and the 100% of users migrated to a totally new and faster authentication system. Many other celebrations and awards in there, but it's been a great year. And next year is going to be even faster, even bigger. And we're just so grateful for your business. So thank you for being with us in 2024. We want to hear all your feedback in 2025, and we'll make sure that the roadmap continues to adapt to your signal. So thanks again.